Hi guys, so I'm going to do today's reading. There's a lot going on. Before I start my reading though, I just want to say I hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm really excited. And I just want to thank you all for supporting my channel, for subscribing, for watching my videos. I've had the channel for years, but I just started getting it going in May. And that seems to be when a lot of things really started happening with protests and everything. So I started addressing some issues like that. But it's been a wild ride. You know, there's definitely been a lot going on. But, so I do appreciate you guys. And I've got a community tab now, so I will write posts in there, where you can find me if you ever want a reading or anything like that. But let's talk about today. In the news, the Atlantic put out some news that apparently Trump had called veterans losers and suckers. Now, you might, but I don't know if you really need me to read if that's true, because most of us kind of know, knowing Trump, he would say something like that. I pretty much feel before I even draw cards, the words were said. But what I'm going to deal with is if that will impact him. For example, now I feel the supporters who are way over on the fence, who no matter what he says or does, they will support him, will probably stay there. Because it doesn't matter what kind of trash comes out of his mouth, they support him. But people on the fence, that are kind of like, I don't know which way to go, Trump or Biden, that's where I'm really going to kind of put my focus on. What about them? Are they going to go to Biden, or will they stay with Trump? Are they not going to believe it? So that's kind of where we're at. We're just going to kind of see, the impact. Now, I just want to talk about, one of the things he was denying was that he ever called John McCain a loser. And for those, who've been living under a rock, John McCain, he was a senator in Arizona. He ran for president. But he was a POW for 5 years, And let me just say, I lived in Arizona for about 35 years of my life, okay? So I knew who John McCain was. I definitely knew who he was, the man. And let me just tell you, if you lived in Arizona, even if you weren't Republican, we all respected John McCain. We may not have always agreed with his politics, people on the other side maybe didn't necessarily agree with all his decisions and certain things, but we all respected the man. He was a legend. We respected him because we felt he was he had a good character. He was a good person. We all knew that, whether we agreed with him or not. And, so I feel like, and this is one thing people should respect, is John McCain had no problem saying something about Trump, where a lot of other Republicans are cowards and won't speak out about certain things. He had no problem saying something. He wasn't afraid of him whatsoever. And that's a big reason why Trump doesn't like him. And then he's got this war record and everything like that. And, Trump, he's bone spurs, right? He dodged the draft because of bone spurs. So, but there was a thing, where he was denying, I never called John McCain a loser. Say it, forget it, write it, regret it. There's a tweet of him calling him a loser years ago. Okay. And even, he's made comments that he has to be a loser for getting captured. So it's all there in black and white, guys. So that's why I'm saying, if he says all that about McCain and called him a loser and this and that, do you really think he didn't say these comments about veterans? So, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a reading to see if there's any kind of impact. Will it affect, those people on the fence? What are people really thinking about it? Will it have any impact? And I'm going to use the pendulum to choose the deck. So let's lower it down and get it going. Okay. So let me get them all in view. Sometimes it's hard to squeeze it all in. Yeah, you're probably going to have a hard time seeing that one. So I want to connect the higher self, which is connected to the source. Am I connected? Yes. No. Maybe. Which deck? Yeah, it's really swinging. going to the Thoth deck. Okay? So it's not going to mess around. It's going to the harshest deck I own. So let's see what's going on. But yes, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. If you want to share my reads, that's great. I appreciate that too. Whatever. Tell people about my channel. There's a psychic lady who reads on the crazy stuff. But yeah, I picked off. I had a feeling it was going to do that. Cut the deck. See what the first card is. Okay, so the very first card is love. So when I kind of look at this, my very first impression, when I see this, is there are going to be supporters and so forth that no matter what has been said, they still love Trump. That's a concern. Okay, they're still going to support him. So let's just get that out of the way. That people that are diehard Trump supporters, they're still going to support him. They're still going to love him. They're still going to show him all that love at the rallies. So for them, the ones way over have no impact. Now, the crossing card is the Fool. Now, in this case, I do take this as a foolish move. You know, that even to ever say any of these things and so forth was absolutely foolish. You know, one of his problems is whatever is on his mind, he blurts out. You know, we all know pretty much what he's thinking because, you know, whenever he is on Twitter, he blurts out whatever's on his mind. So this was a very foolish thing he did, blurting out what he said. So I do have the interference card. I've got the Eight of Swords. Now, when I look at that as interference, I feel that this has kind of interrupted, so forth, his own campaign and everything to get reelected. That this is a big one. You know, that I feel he's actually worried about, that this has kind of gotten in the way. And, you know, often the Eight of Swords is surrounded by swords and so forth. You know, so they feel kind of trapped. So his own words, you could say, have put him in a trap that he almost can't get out of. You know, that he's really trying to wiggle his way out. Like if you see the Eight of Swords, the woman she's bound and she's got the blindfold on as she's surrounded by swords. So he's trying to wiggle his way out of this one by saying whatever he can because he knows this is bad. He knows this is bad stuff. I'll draw a little bit more. Now, when I look at the Knight of Wands, I kind of feel like this is kind of the energy of McCain and so forth. And this is kind of some of the words that are coming back to haunt and so forth. And notice the fire, you know, the Knight, and I can see them for military and so forth, especially Knights. But especially, you know, he was very vocal. He had no problem speaking up and so forth. So he was not, you know, afraid. And as I see this wealth card, obviously Trump has a lot of wealth. You know, and that's one of the things. But, you know, he was not intimidated by his wealth in any kind of way. He was not affected whatsoever. There was, you know, just because you're, you know, powerful, you know, with money and this and that, I have no problem opposing you. I have no problem speaking out against you. He was not concerned. Now, when I kind of look at the Queen of Cups, you know, I kind of get a Melania feel with this. You know, and I'm kind of wondering Is she going to try to intervene or say some things to try to soften this? Now, I want you to think, when we had the Republican National Convention, she did come across a little more empathic and so forth. She was one of the people who actually spoke about COVID and so forth. So it kind of makes me wonder if she's going to say or do something. She doesn't always speak up, but I kind of feel like she might speak up and say some things, to be supportive of her husband during this time. Yeah, I've got the change card. Okay, so we've got interference in the change card. So see, here we go. Here we go. We've got a 2, which is the 2 of Pentacles, okay? All right, and then we've got the change card. So people that were on, should I go this way or that way, are going to change their tune. So I do have a feel that, yes, people that were kind of like, should I go this way or that way, we've got a 2, okay, are changing their mind. As a matter of fact, it's not only that, some of them that are on the side that were not extreme and were not necessarily in a love position, notice this is a 2 as well, okay? But people that were, not as extreme, but were really trying to support him, but he kept doing things and they would kind of hold in there and, yeah, I'm still going to support this, that. I've got that change card. So I have a feeling that this will have an impact on some voters here. This is very upsetting for a lot of people. Now, of course, anytime dealing with Trump, the moon is really not surprising. It's about obscuring. It's about confusion and things like that. So they're going to do their best to cast doubts on everyone. Oh, no, he didn't say it. Oh, no, things were taken out of context. No, they're misguided. So we're going to have a lot of people casting illusions, during this time. But, it looks like, a lot's come out here, which is very strong. Now, when I kind of look at the Magician, this is kind of how it makes me feel. One of the things, the Magician can be a trickster, but they also can make things disappear. So I feel like he just really wants to make all of this go away. He wants to make all this disappear. So he's kind of sitting there going in his bags of tricks. You know what I'm saying? What can I do here? How can I, cast this illusion, that illusion? Like we got the moon here, right? But what can I pull out of my bag of tricks to fix this one? Because this has come out and people do believe it. Yeah, my extreme supporters will stand by me and love me no matter what. But what can I pull out of my bag of tricks, to make this go away and make it disappear? But I don't think this one is going to go away this time. Now, I've got the 2 of Swords, another 2. Okay, and this is the Peace card. I want you to kind of look at that. One of the things I kind of feel, other than the real extreme people, but one of even the motivators right now for a lot of people in this country is they just want peace. They're very unsettled by everything that is going on with all the protests and the fighting and the division. This is a big thing right now. People are getting fed up, okay? People are getting fed up. Even no matter, maybe I'm a Republican or maybe I'm a Democrat, no matter what, they just want peace. And he is, stoking the fire with all of the things that he's got going on. But this is actually the will of the majority of the American people, regardless of what their side they're on. So I feel like one of the things that's really going to get it going on here is which candidate can get us to a place of peace. See, this is going to be a big thing. And then kind of looking at, all this confusion of the moon and the various things being said, people are fed up, they're frustrated. Now, I've got the Princess of Swords. I can see this similar to the Page of Swords for when news comes out. So expect more people coming out to affirm these things that have been said. I feel like there's some more dirt that's going to be coming out here, that's going to support this, that this is factual, especially to see this. Some kind of news is about to come out. Let me look a little bit more on some things here. Now, I've got that Lust card. The Lust card is showing, It's, the lust for power and what he will do to get it. This is another thing that I feel is unsettling for the voters. Just it's not even just these comments that he made, but I feel like, the post office situation is a big one, telling people vote twice in North Carolina to make sure your vote goes through. The lust for power is really turning people away from him. They're seeing this and they're getting nervous about it. Even if they're Republican, they're like, you know what? This is really creeping me out here. He is just a power hungry person. And it's just, it no matter what, any means necessary, he's willing to go for it, just like she's kind of going for the power there. So, that's very concerning, and that is unsettling for people. Now, Three of Pentacles is kind of interesting. I usually see this in some kind of an agreement being made. So I look at that peace card and then I see this agreement. And so I kind of feel like, I see like some sides coming together to work as one. Now, the reason why it's a 3. So think of two sides here coming together and working as one. So I feel like you're going to have Democrats and Republicans. The Republicans that are more easily being able to sway, coming together and working as one force. So I want you to kind of look for that as that happens. That's going to be a very interesting. Now, I do have the Queen of Wands here. Queen of Wands, when I've been reading the politics, is my Nancy Pelosi card. Now, this is kind of interesting because he's getting berated for what he did, but Spirit's like, don't forget with her too. She's very adamant about speaking up, and she's going to speak up about him. But she's taken a little plaque this week, and I think that's why Spirit is bringing it up, about getting her hair washed, without a mask. And apparently she wore it some of the time, the mask, but when she got her hair shampooed, she took it off. So she's getting a little flack for this. So I feel her speaking out. But it's kind of funny how Trump supporters are talking about her getting her hair shampooed with no mask, but they're saying zippity-doo-dah on the fact that he calls veterans losers and suckers who died. Okay, so it's pretty intriguing stuff. So yeah, I really feel, especially looking at this is very interesting. It's normally some kind of an agreement for me. But I look at that, the bottom and the two sides, and then becoming one. So I feel like, people really getting in alignment and getting on board that they're all upset about this. So he will win over. He's got the love card for the supporters that are diehard, no matter what he says, no matter what he does. He's going to have those in his pocket. But I've also got the ruin card. And I put that below interference. This was a major, major blow. And he's going to lose a good chunk of people because of it. Because I do feel some news is going to come out that corroborates these stories. So they're not necessarily rumors. So there's a lot of people out there like, okay, we want to know for sure. Let's corroborate this. Let's get these people to speak up or something. I have a feel that's coming. Okay, that's coming. So yeah, it doesn't look good. He definitely lost some people with this one. It's definitely coming out. And yeah, he's going to try to go into his bag of tricks, and he's going to, he's going to try to say stuff, and he's going to try to make that magic, He's going to try to make that magic, but this is a major one. This is a major one. So it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. But I'm curious, that Queen of Cups, Melania, that, to me, I was feeling Melania on that. I feel like she might say something or, try, because sometimes she does kind of jump in and try to do something positive and everything. She does have people that like her, but it makes me feel like she may come out and say something. But so the extreme fans, they're not going to turn. But the people that are sitting there, it does look like it. It does look like it. He lost people over this one. He got that ruin card. He lost people over this one. This interfered with something, And it's almost like McCain coming out of the grave, man. Remember that old tweet? He's called me a loser. Here it is. If you said that about me, what did you say about everybody else? It's going to bite him in the ass. So that's what I get. But yeah, he's definitely going to lose some people on this one. And look for more of this to come out in the news. I feel like there's going to be another thing. I feel like a little trail of things are going to come out. Like there's going to be another thing he said, this, that, more exposure. So kind of look for that. I hope you enjoyed my read.